G'day everyone. This evening we're down at Paraparaumu Beach. We're here for the supermoon. It's supposed to rise about 7:41 PM, and so we've got about 4 minutes. There is some cloud on the horizon, as you saw, and I guess we just have to wait for the moon to rise above the clouds. It's otherwise a pretty clear evening, and I've got the 180 to 600mm lens on. We've got a wee snapshot of some people fishing, and there are some whitebaiters here earlier. It's a really calm, still evening, about 14 degrees, so I'm out here in my shorts. Yeah, summer is on its way. So for my settings, I'm going to start off at 1/400, f5.6, which is wide open at 180, and ISO around 1600, and I'll just update you if I change that. With the focal length just under 200, I think it should be fine. Yeah, I can always have a quick sneak and look in the preview and see whether I need to make that a bit faster. But we'll roll with that for now. I shot the moon rising earlier this year over the Tararua Range, and I can't quite remember what settings I used, so we'll just have to make it up as we go. And so whilst I'm waiting, I'm going to have a wee seat on this bit of driftwood, because there's nothing like sitting on cold sand or crouching for too long. I chose this location because it's got a nice open field for viewing where the moon should be rising, non-obstructed, not too busy with people, and I have shot here in the past, although it wasn't for the moon, it was instead for Rocket Lab's rocket launch from Mahia on the east coast. So yeah, when there's good visibility you can see the rocket launch at night time, this little light. But now I'm looking for a big moon photo, so fingers crossed. Shouldn't be too long. It's 7:45 now, so I just have to be patient. I was here around this beach area in my last video, and I was looking out to Kapiti Island in the west. So today I'm looking out to the east. And it's starting to get a little bit chilly. But I think we've all been there as photographers, so anticipate it's going to be a little bit warmer. In fact, it was when the sun was up, but now it's cooling down, and it won't be too long before the moon's up. Then I can head back in the car, put the heater on, go home, have food. Looks like I might have to crank up the settings, turn the ISO up, turn the shutter speed down. It's looking fairly dark, hey? What I was hoping for was this nice, I guess, part of the estuary in the foreground, which I might not really get. Or maybe I have to blend some photos together. And the moon coming up over the hill somewhere over there, somewhere in that zone. Yeah, often the moon is quite bright, so I might be able to turn these settings back down a bit. Alright, so it's 7:52. I'm sure the moon is up, although I can't see it at the moment, so I thought I'd sign off now, so whilst we still have light. Hopefully you've enjoyed coming down to the beach. Hopefully perhaps you got out and shot the moon yourself this evening. And if not, there'll be more, I guess, these super moons in the future, so make a plan to shoot that if you can. So I think the moon is going to rise where that glow is just up there, which is okay, I suppose. Ideally, I love to not have the houses in front, but it is what it is. Oh, and here's the moon now. Settings wise, I've managed to lower the ISO to 320, and the shutter is 1/400, and the aperture is f6.3 zoomed in, and clearly zoomed out 5.6. What I've found is the foreground, I guess, in the shot is just not relevant because it's all dark. But I wonder whether in post I can bring that back up. So that'll be interesting. There you go, there's the moon. So here is the moon at 600mm. It always looks bigger when it's closer to the horizon. So it's good to photograph it now. Good morning. Following on from last night's video, or the same video as you're watching, we had a new moon, or a harvest moon, and I thought I'd take a photo of it setting. And so it's going to set to the west, and we have Kapiti Island. So my plan this morning is to get up to a high vantage point, and I mean high, really just a couple of 100 metres on the hill at Nikau Valley. There's a walk track, and you can either walk from the bottom or you can drive and park somewhere close to the top. So I thought I'd do the latter, and I can see that there is a bit of cloud this morning, so with a bit of luck we'll get the shot. This has always been a bit of a no parking zone, so we're just going to turn around here and find a park a little bit further around. So I got up this morning and looked out the window, and the question beckoned, what gets you up in the morning? And for photographers it's often a sunrise. For me it's the moon set. But it could be for some astro. And then I saw some of the cloud, not really thick cloud, but just enough to make you wonder whether it's worthwhile coming out or heading back to bed. And of course I did the latter. I almost went back to bed. And so here I am out here. I'm nice and early. The sun rises at 6:43 and the moon sets at 6:51, so the sun will be up before the moon is down. I brought my breakfast along, and I guess being out here nice and early, I can just sit here in the car and have the breakfast. It's a 5-minute walk from where I've parked to where I want to set up the tripod. And so I'll keep warm here in the car, have some kai, and I'll, I guess, tune in with another little bit when I'm ready to go. Alrighty, breakfast time. So for breakfast this morning, we have Weet-Bix with some granola, cereal stuff, and some chocolate chips that I've taken from the baking supplies. Don't tell my wife. And although it may look like a dog's breakfast, it's pretty edible. Yeah, the milk certainly is absorbed quickly. So if you're not into that, perhaps when you do a packed breakfast, choose something else. So I see that I'm about an hour too early. It's nice to be prepared, or perhaps it's just poor planning. It does mean that I get to sit about for a while. Luckily, I am prepared for work, in my uniform, got my bag packed. When I get home after the shoot, I'll be able to change my shoes and head down ready for work. I do value my sleep, so I'm a bit gutted not to have had an extra hour. But yeah, I'm here, so we'll forget about that and we'll just focus on what is next. So we have the sun rising to the east, and then to the west we have this wonderful moon, and I'm just here at the car deciding which lens I should take. I've got two with me. I've got the 70 to 200, but I also have the 180 to 600, the one I used last night, and I think I'll use that one again. It might allow for me to get more, I guess, moon detail, and be a bit bigger. And if I want to get some foreground or all of Kapiti Island, perhaps I can stitch together a photo. Yeah, so I'm going to do that. I'll take the big lens. Okay, so I've come up over the hill to find there is a bit more cloud than I thought. And I suppose it makes sense that there would be a bit more cloud near the horizon. There's also a bit more wind, so it makes it a bit chilly. I see a couple of people out for a walk, one person running with a head torch. So yeah, good to see people thinking about their fitness and health this early in the morning. So I've got the bubble level centered, so I can do a bit of a panoramic shot. And given that it's so zoomed in, we'll have to take quite a few photos, so I'll show you that now. Okay, so this is what 180mm on a full frame looks like from this spot. We've got Kapiti Island in the background with some clouds sitting around it. Yep, so that's the whole length. And if you come back around, the moon is there. So you can see that it is quite punched in. You see quite a lot of detail, a good amount of zoom. And so I'll need to take quite a few, I guess, photos to get enough for a panoramic shot. So there is a cloud layer over Kapiti Island, just a really thin one. And I'm hoping that when the moon passes underneath it, there'll be some clear sky. So yeah, looking hopeful. And so I just have to be mindful of the fence that's sitting right in front of me. There it is. Alright, I think I got the shot that I was after, or a variety of shots. I'm not sure whether my computer can process that many 45 megapixel photos, but we'll find out a bit later. Bit of excitement, hey? I thought for a moment that the moon was going to disappear behind the cloud, but you'll see that I managed to get the tripod back out in this little time-lapse video after I talked to the guy who was walking his dog, and I said that I was going to pack up and head home. And I'm glad that I stuck around for a bit longer, because it all came to fruition. So I just want to thank you all for sticking around, watching the video. Hopefully you got out and shot the moon either last night or this morning too. And yeah, stick around for the next video. I'm sure I'll do something soon. Alright, bye for now. Bye.
In my weakness you are strong. In my sorrow you're my song. When my patience is all gone, you're the peace that carries on, carries on. You are the light in darkest night, a star that shines in deep blue skies, twinkle in our eyes, love at the first sight.